Denise Warren holds two major positions with the New York Times. She is the Senior Vice President, Chief Advertising Officer of the New York Times Media Group and the General Manager of NYWICITimes.com. Here's a glimpse of her life in both roles. She shared with us how she got to where she is, how she does it, and what the future may hold. Denise described what her average day is like.
Really, really, really busy. Lots and lots of meetings. We're a very consensus-driven company, and it really does take a lot of different people to make any one thing happen. So there are lots of meetings, and that is a pretty typical day. But what those meetings are from one day to the next completely vary depending upon the topic, depending upon the issue that we're working on.
Denise also shared her secret to kicking off a successful day.
Getting in before most everybody else does helps me to get, sort of ready for the day, and it helps me to get some things done.
Worried about your career path? Take note, even Denise faced some uncertainty when venturing out from college into the working world.
I really didn't know.
Okay.
I'd be lying if I said to you I had this path all mapped out. I had no clue. I think I've had maybe a little bit of a different path than most would expect. I actually started my career in public accounting. I graduated from college with a degree in accounting, and I worked for, back then, what was one of the big 8 public accounting firms. So I did my master's at night, and I did it actually in communications and media management. Again, just to show that I was broadening myself. I had to make a choice whether or not I wanted to focus on finance or focus on something else, and I chose something else because I specifically wanted to broaden my experience.
Denise shared that sometimes it helps to have an indirect path to your career goals.
I think it helps. I think it complements what the depth that the folks in the department here have, but they have a lot of outside experience as well.
Even when things in her career didn't go as planned, Denise looked for the silver lining.
I didn't like the accounting job, like when I was working, not here, when I worked in public accounting.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great learning experience. I'm really glad I did it, and I think probably with all really bad jobs, years later you can look back on them and say that. It's hard to really say that in the beginning.
Denise also talked about challenges along the way.
So finding that balance has been difficult but rewarding for me, because in order for me to be productive both at work and at home, I need the balance. Mm-hmm. So every day is a different kind of struggle, and if I look at every day on its own, I'd probably fail, because someone's, it's either me who's not getting attention, or my kids aren't getting attention, or work, I'm missing a meeting, or whatever it is. But if I step back and try to look at it, on balance, it's really about setting priorities and really focusing on priorities, and I think that's actually been a really important lesson.
Another secret of Denise's? Dividing up tasks.
Honestly, the key comes down to the staff. I've got wonderful staff, great support, really high-performing individuals, really on both sides in the advertising department and at the digital organization. So, as I said to everybody when I got these new responsibilities, not only am I taking on more, we're all taking on more. So it's really about delegation.
In addition to her support system at work, outside guidance was always welcome. Denise has relied on mentors throughout her career.
Well, I think having mentors outside your own work environment are actually very, very healthy.
Denise always kept herself open to different possibilities.
Job came along, it might have been anything else. Media, I always found media interesting. But then this job at the New York Times came along, and I thought, wow, that is pretty interesting. Let's see what media has in store for me, and I've been here ever since.
Reporting for New York Women in Communications, I'm Lauren Hard.